Well, what's going on, gang? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Thank you so much for joining me. This is my Evo T. This is the Tanto version of the Rotten Designed Evolution made by CKF. I really enjoy this design. Like a lot. I think, in fact, it's probably, if not my favorite design, one of my top 2 or 3 favorite designs ever. But I have not recently gotten into this design aesthetic, if you will. Rather, it has long been a favorite of mine, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's just something about this particular pattern. The blade-to-handle ratio, the shape of it, the almost pistol grip of it, sort of hold it, like that way. I knew I was going to like the way it felt. I knew that it was going to be comfortable in my hand. So when I first got this one, I was super happy with it. Like, immediately felt like I've been carrying it forever. The ergonomics just make sense to me. The action makes, of course, it's CKF, so the action is some of the best in the business. I think you could argue that CKF is probably the best production knife going. I think that they are consistently as good, if not slightly better, than Riot. And that, to me, means they're better than Riot. Because Riot has some misses, and I have never had a miss from CKF. Anyway, you guys have seen the videos for all this other stuff. But it started here with the 2.0. Then I got the 3.0 because I wanted a bigger one. And then when I got the 2.0, I got into their just amazing DLC. It's a fingerprint magnet enough to make you crazy, but man, is it pretty, right? I decided I wanted to see if I could find the original version. What would be the V1? Those are impossible to find. But I did discover that they had made the 1.1, which is a reissue of this size with some of the features from the original V1. As you can see, the angle on the tip of the blade's a little different, right? This one's a little shallower. It's got finger grooves, sort of choils run the length, which were concerning, but I shouldn't have been concerned. It fits my hand, both hands, left and right, like it was made for me. We'll talk about that again in a minute. These are just very comfortable for me. So I knew I had to try the only really wild variation, which is the Tanto. Apparently the 4.0 is even smaller than this. The Evo T and the 2.0 are basically the same. This is the same, right? It's the blade that's different. And apparently the 4.0 is smaller still. I don't want to own one of those, but I absolutely want to have one to review and look at. So I'm going to reach out and see if I can find somebody who's got one and loan one to me. But I said I knew this was going to work for me. I swear we're going to talk about this knife, but let's get there. One of my all-time favorite knives, and I don't have the auto version handy, but I do have the manual version, is the Stitch. I've held a custom Borka, that's the designer, at a blade show. I knew that I would love the knife. The auto version of the Stitch is one of my all-time favorite knives. The Ramlock manual version is just an excellent knife. I don't mind the shorter blade with the extra handle. I like how comfortable it is. I like the ergonomics of this knife. I very much like the Padre from Kunwu Knives, right? And more recently, right, the Gringo. These knives all have a very similar design architecture. They are sort of belly blade heavy. Well, look, I don't have to tell you about it. You can see it, right? The Padre here has less swell at the back, right? So it fits in the hand a little differently, but the overarching sensation is about the same. It is much more in line with the stitch and its sort of overall shape. The gringo here is, right? My point is that I knew I was going to like these things. I'm going to leave these Kunwus on the table for a minute. We'll get there in a sec. So I knew, but I didn't know how much. It's like they're made for me. You hear people say that all the time. You kind of shrug and go, okay. But there's one other designer who I feel much the same way about, and that is Demko. Demko's designs, the 8010, the 8015, the 8020, fit my hand like he measured my hand to make the knife. And that tells me that his hands and mine aren't that different. It's not that common. There are lots of comfortable knives, but there are a few makers who just design their knives in a way that fit me so well, perfectly even. Sorensen, the designer over at Rotten that designed the Evo Evolution here, has that same thing going on. So I knew I was going to like them. I just didn't realize how much. If you find something you like, go get it. Don't mess around. Right? There are always going to be other options and other alternatives, but lean into the things that you enjoy. And I have absolutely done that. Now, I had to sell a ton of knives to put all this together. None of this is inexpensive, which is actually why I left the Kunwu knives on the table. If you want this, but don't want to spend $800 or $900 on a knife, get you one of these. This is the Gringo, and this is in S390. It is an excellent blade steel, tougher than nails. The design is super comfortable, right? Lots of just belly-heavy blade at the front. This is their Stonewash DLC, which is much more in line with the new, well, my new Evo T. This is their Bead Blast DLC. It offers you all of the function of diamond-like carbon, which is like, it's like turning the shields on in a starship. It's just an extra layer of protection without all of the fingerprint madness. I'll put a link in the description for these. This is an excellent knife. Now, these are all Chinese made. I say that and people say, CKF's not a Chinese company. It's not, but their manufacturing is. The rumor mill would have you believe that these parts come from a Kevin John factory, and Kevin John has a long history of making knives. I've had a few of his knives. Historically, he was most known for making clones. But really what he has is probably one of the most refined and consistently accurate factories going. So it didn't surprise me at all to find that the CKF parts are manufactured at that factory. Again, this is allegedly. I have no evidence. I just know what I found on the internet. Don't sue me. Could be anywhere. Anyway. These are also Chinese knives. Now, while Kunwu is not quite as refined in their manufacturing techniques as, say, wherever CKF comes from, they're pretty damn good. And if you like this blade-heavy sort of belly design, there are a couple of just absolute winning choices. Anyway. Sorry, let's get back to the knife. The Tanto on the Evo T is beautiful. Right? There's a little bit of belly on this end. It's a nice sharp flat there. It is brought down to a really sort of pokey edge without being fragile. It's got a large swedge here. It matches into the cut here. It is hollow ground, so it remains an excellent slicer. Now, this is S90V. They come in a variety of blade steels, but I love S90V on a good knife, and this is one of them. As I said, the shape of this thing just lends itself, right, to a full, you're going to hold it this way, but if you're going to come forward, it's got that Tanto edge right there is great for draw cut. I love that for reasons of aesthetics only, they matched the jimping, right, on the show side and the lock side of the frame lock. Right? It just looks better. They did not do that on the older designs. So they are still in motion with this design. I do know that this follows their newer pattern, much like the 1.1 here. This is a D-shaped pivot. This is a D-shaped pivot. There's a bunch of milling on the inside of the scales to keep weight down. It has the same sort of wood grain texture on the titanium. That is consistent across all of them. You can see it on this side. Of course, this is the carbon fiber on this side, so it's not there, but you get the idea. It's got the same sort of almost gears backspacer. It's very chunky. For me, of course, one of the most comfortable knives ever made. For you, your experience may differ. I don't know. They did do something. The jimping is longer on the 2.0. It's just 1, 2, 3 of them here on the Tanto version, which means that it doesn't come quite as far forward underneath the deployment hole. But they did sort of round this. I don't know if you can see that coming up, but it's not a flat surface. So when you're holding it, your thumb is right there. It is absolutely a natural spot for your thumb to land, and it is really comfortable. Action is, of course, second to none. The only action that is better than my CKF knives are my Shirogorovs. Everything else is after those two. And it is consistent. I have 9 CKF knives now, and I've had probably 15 over the years. All of them have been consistently smooth, no failure of lockup, no parts failures. Their multi-row bearing system that they use is really nice. They come with parts kits just in case. This is not for this knife, but I wanted you to take a look at the bearings, right? Ceramic bearings inside of copper or brass races. They're not copper or brass. It's anyway, inside the races. It's really well done, and this kind of a package comes with all of their stuff. So, because getting parts from the factory is not impossible, right? So they send you extras just in case you ever need them. In the order of things that I enjoy, all of these are just about even in how much I love them. I think that for those of you that know me, the instinct is to say that I must love the 3 and the 1.1 more than these other two because these are bigger. And I mean, if you guys know me, you know that I tend to really lean into big knives, but that's not entirely the truth. That is true, but when it comes to these, it's not entirely true. I like them all just about equally. So far, the Tanto, I mean, it's gotten the most carry recently because it's the newest to me. I think that for overall, like long-term use and survivability, as much as I love a good Tanto, everyone knows that when it comes time to sharpen this thing, unless you're really careful, I'm going to turn it into, you'll end up sharpening off that little tip. And believe it or not, it's easier to maintain a Tanto when it's flat because it's an obvious stop point before you make the change. This, because it's slightly rounded, as you can see, you got to be careful not to just continue that round up the knife. I will have someone else sharpen this. I can maintain that edge, but if I ever need to really sharpen it, I'm sending it to my Gemler or somebody. These are great knives. So much in the knife industry, in the world right now, knife world, is based on sort of FOMO and hype. So I tended to not get the newest thing as it's dropping. I've had a couple of bad experiences with that. You get all excited, oh, this is going to be the coolest thing ever. You throw your money at it. It arrives, and it's okay. This design, the Evo design now, has been around for years at this point. It has been through a number of iterations, and in all that time I have never heard anybody truly complain. So when I got the opportunity to get this one, I jumped at it. And now I have added these others, and I have no disappointment. I think I actually like the Bead Blast most of all. I very much wish these others were like this. I think it'd be easier. It's easier to maintain, and I think it looks very cool. Let's get the basic specs out of the way now that we're 15 minutes into this video. If you've lasted this long, I really appreciate you. It is 3 1/8 of cutting on 3.5 inches of S90V. The grip area is the entire knife. It is 1, 2, 3, 4 full inches, which is my hand plus a little bit, which is very nice. Tip to tail. The Evo T is 7 3/4. Which is just a little bit shorter than the 2.0. Yeah, this is probably a 1/16 of an inch longer. Closed length, 4 and a little over 4 1/4. And of course the in the pocket profile of these knives, they're very tall. So you're looking at almost 1 3/4 on a 7 3/4 inch knife. If I was my scale, where would I be? Sorry about that. I had paused the video. Let's go ahead and weigh it out. Okay. The Evo T comes in at 5.4. This one's going to be lighter because of that carbon fiber scale. Yeah, it's a full ounce lighter, but I think that the full tie edition's about the same. And finally, you get 4.5 millimeters. It's a relatively nice slice of that S90V. I think it's the same. 4.4. 4.4. Yeah, it's the same. This is a great knife. If you don't want to spend this kind of money, don't be afraid to look for some options. And if you want this size, Kanwoo's got you. This is the Compadre. Right? A smaller version of this knife. Anyway. This is the Evo T, the newest edition, one of the newest editions, the Evolution line from the folks at CKF and Rotten Designs. I think it is absolutely spectacular, both as a cutting tool and as a piece of collector's art. I think that if you want one of these, you will not be disappointed. I think that you better be ready because the price tag is nuts. I think that if you want this style of knife but don't want to spend that much money, I have given you some fairly good alternatives. That's where we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you hanging out during this wild ramble about various things. Hope you've enjoyed this look at the Evo T and everything else that's been on the table so far this afternoon. If you have any questions, feel free to ask down in the comments below. Otherwise, you guys take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.